Welcome. My name is Vathsala Selvam, Technical Information Specialist in the Division of Lifecycle API. We will discuss the timeline of a DMF from requesting a pre-assigned number to a DMF status from pending to active, various subsequent submissions, and offer an advice on administrative aspects of managing a DMF from an FDA perspective. DMF types. Type 2 is for drug substance intermediate, materials used in the preparation, or drug product. Type 3 is for packaging material. Type 4 is for excipient, colorant, flavor, essence, or material used in the preparation. And Type 5 is for FDA accepted reference information. This includes shared system REMS, risk evaluation, and mitigation strategy. Pre-assigned DMF number. Obtain a pre-assigned DMF number before filing for a new DMF, except for Type 5, which is discussed in the next slide. Even a Type 3 DMF holder planning to submit in paper can request a pre-assigned number before submitting the original submission. Request for a pre-assigned number can be made through NextGen portal or via email to CDER appnumrequest@fda.hhs.gov. Please do not send the same request to both. You will end up in receiving two different numbers for the same request. If this happens, send an email to dmfquestion@fda.hhs.gov requesting to cancel the duplicate number. If you are not notified with the pre-assigned number within 7 business days of your request, send an email to DMF Question mailbox asking for status. Type 5. The holder should get a clearance from the agency prior to requesting a pre-assigned number. This includes Type 5 for REMS. Type 5 for sterile processing facility does not require clearance but should specify in the request for a pre-assigned number and in the original submission's cover letter that the DMF is for sterile processing facility. Request for clearance should be emailed to dmfquestion@fda.hhs.gov with a letter of intent. It takes minimum of 2 weeks to get a response email from the agency with a decision on the proposed submission. The letter of intent should include the following: holder name and address, proposed subject, title of the DMF, specific information that will be in the DMF, statement of why that information could not be submitted in an application, clinical division that should review the DMF. If REMS, specify that in the letter of intent. Submission media. Submissions to Type 2, 4, or 5 DMF is expected to be submitted through the Electronic Submission Gateway in Electronic Common Technical Document format. Type 3 DMF is exempt from the ECTD requirement. It can be submitted in paper in 2 copies, in ECTD or non-ECTD format through the ESG. It can also be submitted in non-ECTD through the CDER NextGen portal. A third-party contractor can submit the DMF submissions through the ESG on behalf of the holder, but they cannot sign any submission documents such as cover letter. For more information, please a separate presentation on electronic submissions. Original new submission timeline. If an original submission is submitted within the 2 weeks of receiving the pre-assigned number, the DMF status can become active within the next 2 weeks, provided the original submission has no administrative filing issues. Please note, when the FDA ESG receives a submission, it sends an acknowledgement notification to the inbox of the account from which the submission was sent, indicating if the submission was successfully received or failed. This does not mean the administrative review was complete and the DMF was accepted for filing. Need to give a couple of weeks for the administrative review to be completed on the received submission. An original submission should include both administrative and quality information. From here on, wherever I mention quality, it means technical content of the DMF. The subject, title of the DMF in the submission documents should be exactly what was in the request for a pre-assigned number. An administrative review is performed upon receiving the submission. For the Type 2 DMF on a drug substance, a completeness assessment is done upon receiving the GDUFA fee payment and the DMF status is active. A quality review on a DMF is performed when an application references a DMF. Please see the separate presentation on quality information. Some of the administrative documents that should be submitted with the original submission are cover letter, DMF statement of commitment, holder responsibility statement, letter of authorization, and administrative information page. These documents should be on a company letterhead, and please make sure the DMF number is on these documents if pre-assigned. The cover letter should have a DMF number, holder name and address, subject, title of the DMF, DMF type, submission information as original, and signed by the responsible official at the holder or agent company, whoever is submitting the submission. A holder signed DMF statement of commitment stating that the DMF is current and the holder will comply with the statements made in the DMF. In addition, if any addition, change, or deletion of information has been made to the DMF, will submit an amendment to the DMF notifying the changes and also notify the authorized party. A holder signed agent appointment letter if an agent is appointed. A holder signed responsibility statement. In general, the FDA expects the DMF holder to be the manufacturer of the material covered by the DMF. If the holder is not the manufacturer, then the original submission should include a holder signed responsibility statement stating that the holder assumes full responsibility for the manufacturing of the material covered by the DMF. A letter of authorization if there is an authorized party who would incorporate information in the DMF by reference. An administrative information page with the holder company name, address, contact person information, manufacturer name, site address, and contact information, agent company name, address, contact information if agent is appointed. Examples of letter templates for some of the documents are in the DMF website. DMF Acknowledgement. If administrative review of the original submission found to be complete, an acknowledgement letter is mailed to the holder and agent if appointed, and the DMF status becomes active. If administrative review of the original submission found to be incomplete, an administrative filing issue letter requesting the required information is mailed to the holder and agent. Once a response to administrative filing issue is received with the requested information, and if complete, an acknowledgement letter is mailed to the holder and agent, and the DMF status becomes active. If the response to administrative filing issue is received but if incomplete, an administrative filing issue letter is sent again to the holder and agent requesting the required information. The DMF status remains pending. This cycle continues until it passes the administrative review. When submitting a response, please make sure the cover letter clearly indicates that it is a response to the administrative filing issue. DMF acknowledgement letter is mailed to the holder and agent only for the original submission when the DMF status becomes active, not for any subsequent submissions such as an amendment, letter of authorization, and annual report. Original submission process flow. The information I just explained in the previous slide is shown here as a process flow diagram. Subsequent submissions. A subsequent submission is any submission submitted after the original submission, such as an administrative amendment, quality amendment, letter of authorization, and annual report. An administrative amendment is reporting any new changes made to the administrative content of the DMF, such as holder name, address, contact information, manufacturer name, site address, contact information, agent company name, address, contact information, subject, title of the DMF, DMF type, and authorized party. A quality amendment is reporting any new changes made to the technical content of the DMF. A cover letter should be provided with every submission, and it should be signed by the responsible official at the holder or agent company, whoever is submitting. Please note FDA Form 3938 will become available for use with the DMF submissions sometimes this year. Once a form becomes available for use, the agency strongly encourages holders and agents to submit the form with every submission. And at that time, a cover letter may not be needed for most submissions. An administrative information page. If any submission to a DMF is administratively incomplete, an administrative filing issue letter requesting the required information will be mailed to the holder and agent. The submission is not complete until the requested information is received and passes the administrative review. When submitting a response to an administrative filing issue, the cover letter should specify that it is a response to the administrative filing issue. An administrative review is performed throughout the life cycle of the DMF. Letter of Authorization, LOA. A letter of authorization is a letter from a DMF holder authorizing an applicant or another DMF holder to incorporate information in the DMF by reference, and also authorizes the FDA to review the DMF. A letter of authorization should be submitted to the DMF, and a copy of the letter should be sent to the authorized party, who would then include that letter with their application to the FDA. A LOA should be on a company letterhead. For information needed in a LOA, please refer to the template that is in the DMF website. Link is provided in the last slide. For a Type 3 DMF holder submitting in paper, if an original submission was submitted without a pre-assigned number, wait until you receive the acknowledgement letter with the DMF number before you submit the LOA. A LOA should be submitted even if the DMF holder is the authorized party. A LOA does not give an authorized party the permission to view or access a DMF. A LOA with multiple authorized parties is not accepted. If there is more than one authorized party, submit a separate LOA for each party. If any information in the LOA has changed, such as holder name or authorized party name, a new LOA should be submitted to the DMF, and a copy of the letter should be sent to the authorized party. When a holder name changes, a new letter of authorization with the new holder name should be submitted to the DMF for each current authorized party. If the holder has more than one DMF and has a current authorized party in each DMF, they need to submit a new LOA with the new holder name to each DMF separately. Annual report. An annual report should be submitted to the DMF every 12 months, even if no amendment was submitted. The annual report should not notify any new changes made to the DMF. New changes, either administrative or quality, should always be reported to the DMF only by an amendment. If an annual report was not submitted for 3 consecutive years, the agency will send an overdue notice letter via postal mail to the holder and agent, reminding them to submit the annual report within 90 days. The annual report should contain a list of amendments submitted since the previous annual report or the original submission date, whichever is most recent, or a statement stating that there are no amendment was submitted. Please note there is no need to resubmit the amendment. Just list what type of amendment was submitted and the date it was submitted. For example, Stability Amendment on February 2nd, 2020. A complete list of current authorized party names or a statement stating that there is no authorized party. Please note there is no need to resubmit the LOA with the annual report if it was already submitted. In case if there is a change to the LOA that was already submitted, yes, need to submit a new LOA to the DMF. For more information, please see the separate slide on letter of authorization. Please list the authorized party name in its entirety. For example, if the authorized party name in the letter of authorization is XYZ Company LLC, the annual report should list the same, not just XYZ. A list of parties whose authorization has been withdrawn. A holder signed DMF statement of commitment. An administrative information page with the current contact information of holder, manufacturer, and agent if appointed. DMF holder. Only one person or entity can be the holder of a DMF. DMF holder contact person should be an employee of that company, not from one of their subsidiary companies. If the holder contact person is from one of their subsidiary companies, then the holder should appoint the subsidiary company as a DMF agent. If the DMF holder company assigns one of their employees as a contact person, and if that contact person is not located at the holder address, they are considered a holder representative, not a DMF agent, and their information should be included in the administrative information page. DMF holder and the DMF agent should retain a complete reference copy that is identical to their submissions to FDA. DMF holder is responsible for the content of the DMF. When it is simply a holder name change, submit a holder signed letter notifying that it is an internal holder name change from X to Y. For example, from ABC Pharmaceutical Company to XYZ Pharma Company. When it is a transfer of DMF from one holder to another, submit a holder transfer letter from the previous holder and the holder acceptance letter from the new holder. When a DMF is transferred from one holder to another, all documents associated with the DMF should be transferred to the new holder. Whether it is an internal name change or a change of holder, the following documents should be submitted along with the amendment. A signed statement of commitment with the new holder name, an agent appointment letter with the new holder name if appointed, a letter of authorization with the new holder name if there is a current authorized party, and an administrative information page with the current contact information of holder, manufacturer, and agent. If the holder has more than one DMF, they need to be submitted to each DMF separately. Examples of letter templates are in the DMF website. DMF agent. Although there is no regulatory requirement to appoint an agent for a DMF, the agency strongly suggests that non-US holders appoint an agent. An agent for DMF purposes is not the same as an agent for the purposes of drug listing and registration system, but the holder can appoint the same agent for both. A separate agent appointment letter should be submitted to the DMF. An agent appointment letter should be on a holder company's letterhead and signed by the responsible official at the holder company. A holder signed agent appointment letter should include a holder name, address, contact information, DMF number, subject title of the DMF, agent company name, address, contact person name, phone number, fax number, email address, and agent's role specific to the DMF. When an information the agent appointment letter has changed, such as agent company name, address, contact information, or holder name, a new agent appointment letter should be submitted to the DMF. Reactivation. To reactivate the closed DMF, submit the following: a holder signed letter requesting to reactivate the DMF, a holder signed DMF statement of commitment, an agent appointment letter if appointed, a letter of authorization if there is a current authorized party, a holder responsibility statement if the holder is not the manufacturer of the material covered by the DMF. If it has been a while since the DMF was closed, the agency recommends the holder submit a complete update of the quality information. For the detail on administrative documents, click the slide titled Administrative Documents to be included in the original submission. The FDA does not close a Type 2 DMF if the GDUFA fee has been paid. Currently, you can reactivate the closed DMF. Once a draft guidance becomes final, you cannot reactivate the closed DMF. You may need to file a new one. Currently, reactivating the closed Type 2 DMF will not incur a new GDUFA fee if the fee has already been paid. This will change when the draft guidance becomes final. In that case, if the holder closes their Type 2 DMF for which a fee has been paid, they cannot reactivate the closed DMF. They need to file a new DMF and pay the fee again. DMF Administrative Review Statistics for 2019. 976 new DMFs were accepted for filing. 872 administrative filing issue letters were sent for both new and subsequent submissions that had filing issues. 552 responses were received for 872 filing issue letters that were sent in this year. 501 overdue notice letters were sent to DMFs where an annual report was not submitted for 3 consecutive years. Common administrative issues found in the submissions. Discrepancy in the DMF number, holder, manufacturer or agent information, title of the DMF, DMF type or authorized party. DMF statement of commitment was not signed by the holder. Annual report is not submitted every 12 months. If responding to a filing issue, the cover letter does not specify that it is a response to administrative filing issue. Letter of authorization not submitted to the DMF when there is a current authorized party. Authorized party name in the annual report does not match with what is in the letter of authorization. When a holder or authorized party name changes, a new letter of authorization was not submitted to the DMF. When a holder name or agent information changes, new agent appointment letter was not submitted to the DMF. When a holder name, address, or contact information changes, an amendment notifying the change was not submitted to the DMF. Resources. Here are various links for DMF for information related to the drug master files and their submissions, such as DMF website, where draft DMF guidance and examples of letter templates are in, request for a pre-assigned number, ESG and ECTD websites, DMF submission inquiry email address, and information on secure email. I would like to acknowledge Commander David Skanke, our Division Director at DL API. Thank you, David. For questions regarding the content of this presentation, please type them into the Q&A box in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen so that we can address them during the scheduled Q&A panel after this session. If you have any question on this presentation after the workshop is over, please send them to the email dmfworkshop2021@fda.hhs.gov by March 19th for the inclusion in the follow-on webinar on April 9th. This concludes the end of my presentation on administrative aspects of managing a DMF. Thank you and have a nice day.